break, so I'm not sure if it did anything on the last recording I just did, so I'm not going to go over all that again. You know, when it comes to family, you're not going to like everybody in your family. You may not get along with everybody in your family. But the one thing that I can say is that you should at least respect people in your family. You don't have to, I'm trying to say this in a way that's understandable. You don't have to be around them all the time. But when it comes to immediate family and close family, don't take them for granted. Like, I get that there's issues in families, and I get that kids don't always like their parents, and I get that there's things that, that kids feel that, their parents didn't do them right when they were little, or they did this wrong, or they did that wrong, or they should have did this, or they should have did that, or they grow up and they think, oh, well, no, I'm better than my parents were, or I'm in a different class now, so I don't have to be around them anymore because they're lower than me, and I've seen it happen, where kids grew up and all of a sudden they're in a different grade of class in society, so they look down on their parents, and they are no longer associated with their parents as much because their parents aren't good enough anymore, because they've got new family, they've got new friends, they've got another family, they've got other that are in a higher class, they've got people with more money, they've got people that have better houses, that have better things, and their parents are just discarded and thrown out. And I'm here to tell you, as a parent, that hurts, because when you dedicate your entire life and revolve your entire life around your children, and you have a child that would do something like that to you, it hurts. When a child unconditionally, which a parent's supposed to do, and you give your all and you do your best for that child, and that child doesn't want to have anything to do with you, and that child avoids you, and that child ignores you, and pretty much tries to alienate you out of their life, it hurts, and you don't know why. And I've seen it happen. There's times that, I feel that way sometimes. But I'm hard-headed, and I have, over the last year and a half, my attitude has changed a lot, because I've had a lot happen to me. So people can call it a cold heart. They can call it whatever they want. I call it growing up. I no longer tolerate anything anymore. I am the type of a person now. I used to beg. I used to say, please be in my life. Please, please love me. Please do this. Please be a part of my life. Please be with me. Please do this. No, I don't do that anymore. because I found my value and I found my self-worth. And it took a very bad situation where I was left alone and I was left feeling like I was nothing and feeling very invisible and unloved and unwanted, and felt like I didn't want to even live, because I had nobody. I had my friend, and I mean, I'm trying to get words out without saying something wrong. But I was there. I was in that position, and I know what it feels like to be alienated and to be left in a position where you are literally alone and made to feel like you are absolutely nothing and stripped from every emotion that you have and made to feel like you are not loved and wanted and desired or even welcomed or anything like that. I know what that feels like. And I know what it feels like to beg someone to love you and to want you and to be a part of their life and to be rejected over and over and over again. I know what that feels like. And it's not me anymore, because after I went through everything I went through, I learned my value. I learned my self-worth. I learned that I am lovable and I am likable and I am a person and I can do it on my own, and I don't need anybody. I don't need anybody's approval. I don't need anybody to stand by me. I don't need anybody to pick me up and dust me off, because I can do that all by myself. I don't need anybody to hold my hand, because I got my own hand to hold. I can do it by myself. I learned that I don't need to beg nobody either. If you want to be in my life, you're going to be in my life. If you don't want to be in my life, there's the door. Because I'm going to ask you one time. And if you don't want to be a part of my life, I'm not going to beg you. You don't want to come around me? Fine. You're lost, not mine. I don't care who you are. I literally don't care who you are. I am not begging anybody anymore. People make choices, and they also regret choices they make when it's too late. And like I said, people can call it cold-hearted. People can call it whatever they want. I call it growing up and realizing your worth. Because people can put me down here, and they can put other people up here. That's their own choice. That's called being a superficial ass. Because money and status does not create a person's value. How they are, the person they are, how they treat you, how they respect you, how they love you, how they care about you, the way they act towards you, that right there, that is valuable. And that is something money cannot buy. And if you choose to be around people only because of their status, and those are the people you choose to be in your life because of their status, then you're superficial. And that's just the way I feel about it. And when it comes to friends and family, when it comes to anybody that you have in your life, choose wisely. Because I can usually tell within the first few minutes of meeting somebody whether or not they're going to be my friend or not. And there are people that I click with instantly. And then there are people that I'm like, yep, gotta get away. But usually most people that I meet, I can tell within the first 10 minutes. And I have some amazing friends. And I learned about a year and a half ago who my people are. And people that I thought were my people were not my people. I was dumbfounded, but it taught me a lesson, a big lesson, not to put my faith in people. And that's sad. So choose wisely. And if you have family that you don't get along with and you don't talk to or whatever, think about why and try to fix it, because family's family, and though it doesn't have to be blood to be family, but as much loss as my family has had, I can tell you right now, it's hard when you lose somebody and you haven't talked to them and you have not buried the hatchet with them and you haven't been able to solve anything, and then you wake up one morning and they're gone. And it's an unexpected gone, like my brother getting shot. Granted, I tried to work things out with him, but because I wouldn't believe his belief, his thoughts, he didn't want anything to do with me. So that really bothers me, that I had no closure in his murder. I mean, the last words he heard from me was, "I'm sorry you feel that way, I still love you." But the last words I heard from him was, "I hate you and I hope to spit on your grave." And that hurts, because I know he was so angry and full of hate. That's how he felt, because I didn't believe his lies. Granted, it was his mental illness, but still, I didn't believe his lies, and so I was the enemy. So I'm just here to say that if you have family, especially close immediate family, and you aren't treating them right, and you are on that end, think about what you're doing. Think about how you're treating them. Think about the way that they're feeling about how you're treating them. And think about the pain that they're feeling because of the way that you're treating them. Because it hurts. You're making them feel like you're alienating them, and you're making them feel like you don't like them and you don't want to be around them. And on the opposite end, if you are the one that has a family member that is not wanting to be around you or whatever, don't beg them. If they don't want to be around you, let them. And I know I had to get on that subject because it's been weighing on me. I know it's way off of what we've been talking about, but it's been weighing on me hard. And I could say so much right now, but I'm not going to. Because it's a lot. Time is short. Our days are numbered. And you shouldn't take people in your life for granted, whether that's family or friends. If they're your true friends and if they are family, don't take it for granted, because you don't know how much time you have. And I just know this because, I've had 2 family members shot and murdered, and 1 suddenly die. And 2 expected, but when you have 3 very unexpected deaths, and both of my brothers and then my nephew, you don't understand. It's hard. It is so hard when you have unexpected deaths like that. It really puts a new perspective on life and the value of family. And it's something that you need to understand, that always know and let them know that you love them. And always reassure them that you love them and you care about them. Because that is one thing that they need to know. Because I know my brother, when he was shot, he didn't think that any of us loved him or cared about him. Even though we told him, he didn't believe it. And I wonder if he realizes how much we really did love him. Because we told him we loved him, but because we didn't believe him, he didn't believe it. So none of us got to say goodbye to him. And there's no closure in that. So just take that to heart. And just remember that you can't replace family. It's just, there are some things in life that are irreplaceable. And if you're a child and you treat your parent that way, shame on you. If your parent has been a good parent and they've done their best, shame on you. I understand parents make mistakes, but if your parents have done their best, that's sad. Now, if your parents were shitty ass parents and they abused you in every way, then so be it. Then you can do whatever. But if your parents worked hard and did their best to raise you, and they tried, and they loved you unconditionally, and they put up with all your ups and downs, and they did everything they could to help you and be there for you, and they've tried and tried, shame on you. Because one day you're going to regret the way you treat your parents. That's all I got to say about that one. And that's something that you will never be able to replace your parents. And one day they're not going to be around. I know I wish I could have another day with my dad. And he knows I loved him. He knew every day I loved him. And yeah, we had our differences, but he knew every day I loved him. And I knew he loved me. And he went peacefully. And I knew my dad did his best to raise me from what I went from to, and he knows that he gave me a good life. And he knows that he took me from a bad life into a good life. And I cherish that. And I cherish every moment that I had with my dad. Everything he taught me, everything that he molded me from, everything. I take everything to heart. And I cherish it. And I will always grow with it. I wish I could hear his voice again, but I can't. And sometimes it's really hard. And I always miss him. And my mom's not doing very well. And I know I'm going to lose her someday. And my mom knows how much I love her. And we're trying to talk my mom into moving in with us. But she won't. I wish she would, but she won't. But my mom knows how much I love her. And I care about her. And that's one thing that I can honestly say, that my parents never had to wonder. My parents never had to wonder if I loved them or I cared about them. Because I do. And if they need me, I'm there. Because that is what a child does. Anyway, I'm going to get really deep into that if I keep talking. Anyway, so I'm going to hop off here. I'm going to finish my coffee. If there's anything you want me to talk about, hit me up, because I can talk about anything. Subscribe to me, and I will get back on here a little bit later.